The blizzard came without mercy, swallowing the plains in white so fast that even the bravest travelers vanished into its teeth. And when Jacob Cole spotted the shape of a woman collapsed beside an overturned wagon, he knew stopping might cost him his life, but riding past would cost him his soul. He dismounted into knee-deep snow, the wind screaming like a living thing, and found her barely conscious, clutching a satchel to her chest as if it were the last proof she existed. Her name, whispered through blue lips, was Anna Whitlock, a mail-order bride bound for a ranch she had never seen, promised to a man whose letters had been warm but whose name now meant nothing in the storm. Jacob wrapped her in his coat, lifted her onto his horse, and turned toward the only shelter within miles, his cabin, built by his own hands after he'd walked away from a past he never spoke of. By the time they reached it, night had fallen hard, the wind pounding the walls as if demanding entry, and Jacob fought the door open, dragging Anna inside and stoking the fire with shaking hands. As warmth returned to her skin, he brewed tea, spoke gently, and learned in fragments that she had been sent west after her parents died, that marriage felt safer than hunger, and that the blizzard had erased every direction she thought she knew. When she finally slept, Jacob sat awake, staring at the fire, wrestling with a truth he hadn't faced in years, that his cabin held more than supplies and solitude. At dawn, as the storm still raged, Anna woke and explored the small space, expecting roughness and finding instead something unexpected. A neatly made child's bed unused for years, a carved wooden horse on a shelf, a Bible marked with pressed wildflowers, and a faded photograph of a woman and a little boy whose smiles felt painfully alive. The air shifted between them when Anna asked nothing, only looked with understanding, and Jacob realized the blizzard hadn't only brought danger to his door. It had delivered a reckoning. If this moment has pulled you in, subscribe to the channel, because what they discover next will change both their lives. When the blizzard finally loosened its grip, the silence felt heavier than the storm itself, and in that quiet, Jacob did something he had avoided since burying his wife and son years earlier. He spoke the truth aloud, not to the walls, but to someone who listened without judgment. He told Anna how the fever took them in a single winter, how he'd blamed the land, the doctor, and finally himself, retreating into solitude as if loneliness were penance, and Anna shared her own losses, the ache of being chosen by necessity rather than love, and the fear that her life had been reduced to a transaction. As daylight stretched across the snow, they repaired what the storm had damaged: fences, trust, old assumptions. And when the road finally reopened, Anna faced a choice she hadn't expected: continue on to a man who knew her only by ink, or step into an uncertain future where kindness had already proven itself. Jacob never asked her to stay. He only offered honesty, a warm place, and the promise that she would never again be alone unless she chose it. When Anna decided to leave anyway, to meet the man she was promised to, not out of obligation but out of respect for herself, Jacob helped her pack, his heart steady but heavy, until days later a letter returned with her, unopened and torn, explaining that the arrangement had been canceled, the groom already married, the promise void. Standing again at Jacob's door, Anna understood that the storm hadn't ruined her path. It had cleared it. Together, they chose something braver than rescue or obligation: partnership built slowly, rooted in shared grief and shared hope, transforming the cabin from a place of mourning into a home where laughter could live again. And when spring came, melting the last of the blizzard's scars, neighbors spoke of how a storm saved 2 lives by forcing